Good evening. Welcome once again to this week's episode of It's My Turn Now. Yes, it's your turn. It's your turn. It's your turn. Welcome to this very exciting episode. We're excited to bring this program to you when we deal with, especially in the Indianapolis area and around the country, there are a lot of challenges with our young people. And so we want to discuss that on tonight. Our subject is mental health and support system for youth and young adults. So we just want you to feel free, as usual, to give your questions, give your comments as well. Don't forget to share. Share the program. Let others know that it's my turn now is on the air and it is your turn now to give your response. This is a interactive program where everyone gets an opportunity. Your views are important to us as well as to you. So we're going to start right now with our first guest. We're going to bring her on now. The lovely Miss Brittany Morrissey. Brittany, welcome to
Hello.
It's My Turn Now.
Yes, it's my turn now. My name is Brittany Morrissey. I'm a school social worker. I work for Warren District. I work at an alternative school called Renaissance. I also have a history with social services and foster care,
Okay,
and
thank
I've
you.
been doing that for about 7 years.
That's awesome. Thank you for sharing that with us. We're going to hear a lot more. She's going to give us some information, excellent resource for helping others, especially the young kids, which is a very important position. You said you work for an alternative school.
Yes.
Tell us a little bit about that.
Sure. So with Warren Township, we have our students come from middle school as well as the high school for Warren. And at the alternative school, it's a half day program. And so, with that, how students get in, it's usually based off of behaviors. Sometimes with high schools, it is based off of credits, like if they don't have enough credits.
Hmm.
But typically, the students that come in, it's due to their behaviors at their home school. And so when they come to our alternative school, they're placed there for a certain amount of time. And then when it comes to that time, they look at their behaviors, their attendance, and their credits in order to go back to their home school.
Okay, so this is like a behavior modification school.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
Yes.
what's your success rate? You don't have to
uh,
answer if you want to, but I'm just kind of
well,
curious.
it kind of depends on how you measure success. Some of our students choose to stay because they feel as if the small setting that the alternative school gives is a better fit for them.
Hmm.
Especially with our high school students, like our middle school students, we always encourage them to go back to the middle school. But with our high school students, sometimes, well, a lot of times our high school students want to stay because it's a better fit for them. And so, with that being said, they may not succeed as they would have going back to the high school because it doesn't give them that smaller setting that they would like to have.
Hmm.
Um, so yeah, it just kind of varies on what you would consider success.
There you
But
go.
for the
Good answer. You got my vote for Congress. Well, you have a very good answer. We have a Celeste. Celeste, we see you on here. We're gonna bring you on here in a few minutes. We haven't brought our second, but believe it or not, I was in a class way back years ago in the '70s. I think it was kind of a class that was a new concept. It was for kids who had behavior problems. I said, man, these people are crazy. This class now, I said, oh wait, well, I'm in here. What's wrong with that picture? So I was one of the ones who were very challenged. There was a class for kids who were challenging, who had uh, to deal with various challenges. So they felt like we had potential, but I just stayed in trouble. I guess I was bored in school, and I just got
Mhm.
in trouble, and they had me in that class, and I guess it worked out for me.
Yeah, I mean,
I
and
never end up
sometimes.
in jail. I never end up in jail. Never. The only time I went to jail was to visit somebody or get somebody out of jail. I did have to get one of my members out of jail. That's when I was a new pastor, and I told him, if you go to jail now, then I'm just gonna put you in over inside prison ministries. I ain't getting nobody out of jail. inside. That's going to be your ministry in the jail. God bless you. All right, look who we have next. We have Miss Kelly Lynn Jones. She's no visitor to It's My Turn Now. Welcome to this week's episode. It's My Turn Now, Miss Kelly.
Hello, good evening. It's my turn now.
Okay, all right.
I love it.
Thank you. It's your turn now. Tell us a little about yourself. This is not your first time. This is not your first go round. You've been on here before. She loved it so much. She came here not once, not twice, and I think she just loves. We just had to make you a host. If you come a couple more times, you just gonna have to be a co-hoster here or something. Tell us, for those who are not familiar with you, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Yes, I am a psychiatric and mental health nurse practitioner. So I treat people with severe mental illnesses and psychiatric disorders, such as mood disorders, uh, anxiety, depression, schizoaffective, schizophrenia, attention deficit, oppositional defiant. I treat children ages 13 and up, all the way up to, I think probably my oldest person is in their 80s. And I work right now, I work a couple places. I work in a community mental health center. So we treat people, the underserved. Most of our patients have Medicare or Medicaid. They get supplements. We actually get paid a stipend from the government to treat the underserved community. So we see very, very sick patients with lots of substance abuse disorders, also lots of health, comorbidities. And it's a challenging population because a lot of homeless patients, so they just don't have the money or access to healthcare, and they haven't taken great care of themselves. They don't have the support, so it's a challenging population. But then I'm opening up a private practice, and that is in Indianapolis. It will be on Fort Harrison's. In that area, and
Your advertisement there.
yeah, I treat more working professionals. So people with more commercial insurance. I do accept Medicare and Medicaid, but my target audience are working professionals, and then children of professionals that are having mental health and psychiatric issues.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's a mouthful right there. A lot of areas that you cover that sound like you're very skillful. Do you have a area that you primarily like to group that you like to work with?
My passion is the severely mentally ill. My grandfather was schizophrenic and spent a lot of his adult life in and out of state institutions in Texas. He had 4 children with my grandmother, and my aunt was a paranoid schizophrenic. Also, I took care of her. She just recently passed. And so that is my heart and passion because I have family members that were severely mentally ill. But I do also see a lot of people with bipolar, and bipolar depression in particular can be difficult to manage. I'm seeing a lot of women that are postmenopausal that are having issues with their mood and regulating that. I treat a lot of children that we are working with anxiety and coping skills. So I like, there substance abuse. I probably would say I don't have as much experience or knowledge in that area, but I also treat a lot of patients with substance abuse. So, but severe mentally ill are my favorite patients.
Wow. That's interesting because you cover so many different areas, and everybody is unique. And I think God designed certain people are able to deal with certain illnesses and certain mental illness. But then there are some people who, I guess, God just gives us a proclivity to help different people. I dealt with some autistic children. I really like the kids. It kind of touches my heart. I dealt with that, and I dealt with people with bipolar situation. Now, I'm going to ask if you're on here, please leave a comment and let us know that you're on here. Because sometimes we have problems with the program where people tell me I tried to get on, I couldn't get on. And so I'm telling Celeste now. Sometimes when we give the link, people say they click on the link because they want to see the program. But I'm going to bring you on, Miss Celeste. Are you ready to come on? See, I don't think she knew she was coming on. I tell people because they think they think they can just view the program. I'm getting 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. You on here, Miss
This is
Celeste.
my turn.
Oh, she's full. Go ahead on, Miss Celeste.
I love it.
It's my turn now, but
It's my turn
hey, I
now.
like the enthusiasm, boy. We're gonna have to make you a regular. What you do, Celeste?
Look, you can't give me the stage now.
There you go.
Okay.
Okay.
That's my friend.
It's
Yeah.
one every family. No, that's just kidding.
Yeah.
Well, she comes to see you. Shirley Walton, she says, praise to everyone. And she says she shared, are you LAs able to get this on your Facebook pages so that your friends and family can see it?
I did post it, yes.
Okay, so hopefully they can see, or you have to post a link. Hopefully they can see it. Or are you able to see it, Celeste, or
Yeah.
you just want to see? This is your time to shine, Miss Celeste. Go ahead on.
Okay, so my name is Celeste Lawson Lindsay. Like Kelly mentioned, I'm a good friend of hers, but
All right.
I also have studied in the area of like trauma informed care, trauma responsive care. Now, this was prior to COVID. I haven't worked in that area since then, but I did go to Butler and I studied educational neuroscience with Dr. Lori Disotell.
Go ahead on.
And it's really something that's close to my heart. I also used to be part of a program called Shakti Warriors, and this is for young people who go through adversity and trauma.
I'm sorry, Miss Celeste. You might say it a little bit slower, sis.
Okay, I'm sorry. I'm a
Right.
fast talker. Okay, so, and this is my passion, so let me slow it down. So, I work in the area of adversity and trauma.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Okay. So many of you probably have heard of ACE scores, adverse childhood experience. Okay. So that's kind of like where we start at. But I work with a program called Shakti Warriors. It stands for Superhero Academy for Knowledge Training and Integrity.
All right.
Um,
Is that an active program now?
yes.
So maybe you can type in the box of information so how we can
Okay.
take advantage of it. Now. Have you and Kelly actually worked together?
No.
Y'all just friends each other. Okay.
Yes.
All right, then go ahead and continue.
So really what it is I think it's just the most amazing program. It's an educational curriculum. It's an online curriculum that we use right now it's being used in India, in greater Washington, D.C. area, a little bit in Chicago, and a little bit in L.A. It used to be in Indianapolis, but again, when COVID happened, a lot of the enrichment programs went away. So we haven't found our way back into the school setting yet.
Now, what's the goal of the program? What are their main focus?
The main focus is really working with young people who deal with adversity and trauma, teaching them social emotional learning skills, teaching them trauma informed skills. So we do professional development. We work with teachers, like administrators. We work with anybody that come in contact with kids. So what I'm saying is bus drivers, lunchroom folks, police officers, and we provide professional development. Mainly what we do is we help students understand their brain, the three different regions of their brain, and helping them understand really their feelings, their thinking brain. We help them understand the sensory part, like their brain stems, and help them really kind of just identify it so that they know kind of what some of their triggers are. And then we set them up with skills so that they can learn how to self-regulate. So yeah.
Okay. So they don't have that program in the school now, but what if someone, say for instance, someone's listening to the program or someone knows someone that's challenged, is there a way they could reach out and request those services?
Yes, through me.
Okay, there you go. And so now Brittany is a school social worker. I think, if I'm not mistaken, correct me if I'm wrong. But your job is to connect the kids with the resources that they need. Is that correct, Brittany?
Yes, I will help them connect to resources based on their needs.
So would this be something that you would connect them with if you had access to it?
Yeah, definitely. We're always looking for extra resources, can never have enough. So always looking for another program or something that really help our students, because not every program is for each student. So when we have a large range of different programs, even though it may be offering similar of the same services, the different people, just everything that it brings, students can relate to it differently.
Well,
So it's just important that we have that
and I think the part
variety.
I missed, Brittany, is what differentiate us from the rest of them are we use superheroes to like market. So we use superheroes to educate students. So when I say Shakti is our leader, right? So
Mhm.
we have comic books, we have online avatars where students can create,
Yeah.
avatars for themselves, and we use our superheroes experiences and they all have A scores. And we use our superheroes to take them through social emotional learning and and adversity and things like that. So for kids, if at one point, fourth, fifth grade was our sweet spot. And
Mhm.
then we grew. We grew from fourth to fifth because we realized that's kind of where we try to catch them.
Mhm.
And then we started doing some work over at Transition Academy. And this is a 24-hour 365, and it goes up until like 17, 18 years old. So that's when our program grew. So we have a little bit for everything, but we do use the superheroes.
And I love that because it's so different. You don't hear that at all.
Yes.
Typically, it's the traditional setting, where it's
Yes. Yes.
individual with, getting to know the student, and it's very traditional. So using that superhero reference, I feel like is really
Right.
So,
And if
so,
really
you
a good way to connect to the
so let
student.
me ask you a question. When you say superhero, do you have like videos and things, or do you have people dress up like superheroes?
so my name, so I'm Celeste to you guys, but if I walked into like school 67, 63, my name is Harvest.
Harvey.
Okay. That's
Yeah,
your
that's my
superhero name.
superhero name. Yes,
That's
I have a
your superhero.
cape. A
Okay.
lot of our programs, we have capes. We teach them, and we work this into the lesson plans.
Now,
Where
you Harvey?
yes,
Are you Harvest or Celeste right now? All right.
right now I'm Celeste, but if I
Sometimes
had,
people
see,
get
I don't
caught
have
when
my cape
sometimes
on. I
people
don't
get
have my
caught when they
cape
get locked
on.
in there. You ain't locked in then, are you Harvest? Let us know now.
Right, right. But I do have my cape now. I have my little cape.
Where you
But I do. It's
your cape
so much
nearby?
fun.
You have your cape nearby?
I can grab it.
It's with Dr. Kelly. It's within grabbing distance. What would you say about that? It's within eyesight.
It's not within eyesight, but yes, I have my cape, and I am Harvest. And a lot of them they don't know my real name. They just
So
think I'm Harvest.
do you create your own special character?
Yes, Avatar. You go online. We have an
Okay.
online site where they create, and it's a process. And like we start off with social emotional learning, but we infuse adversity and trauma in there. So we take
Yeah.
them through SEL, so they know all the steps. That's something they're familiar with. Second step got that on lock. But
Mm.
what we do is we infuse trauma and adversity. We teach them. We actually set up like amygdala stations. Some people call them calming stations. They have all these different names for them. We set up adversity teams. We do professional development. We do all that.
So do you work with?
We got Les Marie coming over here. This is another one of your friends, Miss Kelly.
It is
Your
actually.
friends are showing out tonight. You got one, Miss Harvest. Is that your name, Miss Harvest? Miss
Yes.
Harvest is she's popping tonight, Miss Harvest. So
Mhm.
we don't know what we're gonna expect from Miss Les Marie, Kelly.
I don't know.
We
Let's
don't, we don't know. So we see what kind of friends Miss Kelly has, don't we? So I'm gonna before I bring Miss Les on, Kelly, I'm gonna ask you. Now you work more in a hospital setting, right? They work in school setting, but you work more in a hospital setting.
in a clinic, an outpatient
Clinic. Okay, clinic.
in private practice. Yes.
Okay, so because and I want to know Les Marie. I don't know if I scared her or not because she went off, but when we look at the news, okay, she came back. She's fearless. She came back. You ain't scared me. So when you all see the situations with the kids and the guns, talk about more serious situation. Because I often thought about, I started a program deal with family life and deal with grief and counseling, and merging those because a lot of those are sometimes people experience a loss or grief, especially young person. They don't know how to deal with it. and so they act out in anger and hurt because grown folks don't know how to deal with it. But when I see a lot of these kids, I know one of the problems because guns ease access, but I think a lot of is conflict resolution. I think that's a lot of problem, and so I want you ladies, and I'm going to let you Kelly, I'm gonna let you go because you haven't said a whole lot. I know once you get going, start, you can get going. So, what are your thoughts toward that? I mean, because you work with young people, how does it affect you? It affects me when I see, man, 13, 14-year-old people killing it. And I know they have the potential, but what can they do or what do you see as some of the solutions?
Well, I think it's all roads lead back to home. We need to start with educating the parents on just how to take care of their children. Many parents are busy working. Many parents are preoccupied. I have patients sometimes they're 11, 12 years old using drugs. And when I ask them where you're getting these drugs from, my mom, my dad, their friends. And
Hmm.
so, just being able to set an example for children is super important. And then there's no supervision. Some of these children are left home for hours at a time with no supervision. I'm talking mom is working, 5 in the morning and working doubles and is not home till midnight. And so this child is left home all day and evening and night with no supervision. So supporting the parents and then the communities. A lot of the communities don't have structured activities. We used to have the Boys and Girls Clubs and the YMCA and all these programs that were free or low cost to children that they could come and participate and play basketball, go swimming, do all these programs. We don't have those structured environments anymore. And then a lot of the neighborhood people in the neighborhood would look out and take the children to church or take them to activities. My dad, I know I grew up in a two-parent home, but a lot of my neighbors did not. But my father, when it was Friday night and it was driving town time, he had a station wagon. We packed everybody. They were under the seats. We were sitting. I mean, like, so the community needs to get involved. And then the family, the extended family. So many people are living in isolation. They are in conflict with their mother, their sister. They're raising these children without help. And it's difficult. I mean, it does take a village to raise a child. So reaching out to your community and, sometimes your community is not necessarily your family, but we need to have help and support for parents to be able to give the children the structure and discipline and love that they need because it really does take a village.
I'm going to bring Miss Les Marie on because I think she's ready to come on. But before I bring her on, what I see as a big challenge is anger management with a lot of kids. I think conflict resolution. A lot of kids just don't know how to they're angry. They're angry with life. They're angry. I remember as a young teenager, we came up in projects, and I was angry. I was mad. I was brought up in projects, so I was dealing with a lot of anger, but didn't know how to deal with anger. But I handled it better than a lot of my peers did, but I saw them acting out in just different ways. So, but I'm gonna go ahead and get Miss Marie because she's been waiting patiently. So I'm gonna get her brain on this. You say this is your friend, right? You said Kelly.
She's actually my consultant that's helping me with my private practice.
All right, all right.
Yeah.
Is she gonna behave herself?
I hope so.
So
Miss Marie, welcome. She came on talking. Look, I got to introduce you, Miss Marie. Welcome. It's my turn now. She's ready to go.
well, I didn't know I would be live. I would have everybody's all dressed all nice. But I will say that because I am raising a 13-year-old daughter, and so I can kind of chime in on where we are with this generation wholeheartedly. First of all, this is Generation Alpha. Generation Alpha, they're entitled, and then these are the children that are products of millennials, and millennials are products of the parents that were raised in the drug epidemic. So my mother was addicted to drugs. My friends' parents, they either lived with their grandmothers or their other relatives, or they bounced from home to home. So now we, even though we are financially stable and have been able to bring our kids out of poverty, we have now raised broken children because we're broken. So broken people raise broken people. And we've created Generation Alpha. They're entitled, and social media gives them a false sense of reality. So they don't know what is serious. They don't know what is real. And when we say conflict resolution, they don't have any coping skills. They don't have any emotional regulation because social media does not teach them that. They can hide behind a keyboard and say whatever they want. But the danger with this, the dangerous part of this generation is because they don't have the idea of the social reality that what you say and what you do has consequences. So then they get backed into a corner, and now we have this gun violence because it's fear, flight, or fight, and they don't know how to fight, and they're in fear. So we really, I think, need to gun ho on Generation Alpha and really tearing that apart and understand what we can do for this generation, because this is a whole entire generation of entitlement. They don't want for anything, but they have emotional instability. So my thought process and what I'm doing with my non-for-profit is I'm going after the little children, your preschool to third grade, where they don't even have a chance to mold and shape themselves. We're teaching them about emotional regulation, teaching them about love, teaching them about how to conflict resolution, teaching them how to confidently tell them about their emotions. I didn't like this, but I can't hit a person. So I think it all has to do, and a therapist told me something that I didn't like about Generation Alpha. They said these children, this generation is going to kill each other off. And I hated that she said that because that is my child's generation. So what do? We just let a whole generation kill each other off, or do we get into the mix and help now?
Yeah, I think they have the capacity to kill a generation off. I think with people like yourselves on here, the four of you all, and as you apply your various knowledge and resources, and Miss Wonder Woman with her cape and all everybody's information, I think there's hope. I think we can't lack hope. But you said a lot of good things regarding Psyche did your homework. That's a area of specialty dealing with the young people in the various generations, because I certainly agree with that. There are generational challenges that we have, and the problem is the parents don't mind getting with somebody. Used to be a time you go, child has a problem, they go to the parents say, let's be rational, let's go to school, let's talk to teachers. Now the parents come, they ready to fight. I mean, parents ready to fight the kids. Now that's messed up. Grown folks talking now. Brittany, you work in the school system. Have you had any problem with any parents? Because parents don't. Parents it used to be a time that, unfortunately, for better or for worse, it used to be a parent. If I came home and so my mom was, well, my teacher did this. She said, "Boy, what you do?" She didn't say, "Oh, I'm going to get them." Now the kids tell the parents that and what they say they do, and the parents are ready to come to the school and fight. So I think I think it's good that you saying you start with a younger age. But what do we do? And I let either one of you do. What do we do? Because you have a group of people, older generation, that just they just don't know. They don't have confidence. And I didn't know till it was Kelly Jefferson. They don't have the girls club, boys club where you can go for free and swim.
Funding is cut with those programs. But then the other thing I wanted to talk about is that this generation of educators, these are not the same educators that we had when I was a teacher. These are educators that are coming out. My daughter has had 4 different teachers in science, and the last one just came out in December, was in a classroom in January. So the educators, they're not being equipped with the tools to handle this generation of children
Absolutely.
either. So
Yep.
and I'm a firm believer of, I got one child. So when I take her to school and I put them in the parents and the teachers' hands and the school system's hands, they have a responsibility. So yeah, I have gone to the school and cut up because we are not having the we don't they're not equipping the educators
That's
to
it.
do what they're supposed to do, or
It.
give them the tools to handle a class of 30 unruly children.
Okay. So when you say you cut up, can you elaborate on that a little bit?
So if my daughter has come home and says Billy has, a prime example, Billy has been picking on her, hitting her, and now my daughter, the principal had called me and said, well, Trinity exploded and now she's in school suspension. And then he said, but we've had a couple incidents this week. Hold it. Why are you now calling me when the situation has escalated and now my child is in school suspension? When Billy put his hands on Trinity 3 times, I should have known about the first, second, and third time.
That's good. Let me ask. So how do you respond to that?
Well,
You said because you said cut up. I'm just trying to. I guess
oh
that's
yeah, because
that's
we
a
because this
therapy.
because we don't do boys hitting girls is unacceptable.
Okay, so I'm asking you because this is what we're talking about. How do we handle that as
Well,
parents?
I put it back on the principal
Okay.
and the dean
You
of
know,
the behavior.
the problem is some of these principals are young themselves. Some of these principals they're young. Like I said, they don't have experience, and it's because schools has become so challenging. A lot of people just don't want to teach. They don't have the patience. When I retired, I substituted the kids. When I was in undergrad school as a freshman many years ago, back in the 70s. I taught preschool. Love the most rewarding job I ever had. I said, when I retire, I'm gonna teach preschool. Just help these kids out. Man, I was in volunteer my time at school. And my brother-in-law said, "Why don't you just substitute teach?" So I said, "Okay, I'll substitute. What substitute teach?" Them kids. I had a little 11-year-old boy chest bump me. Said, "I ain't afraid of you, Mr. Walton." I raised my thumb with the thump on the side of the head because that's the way we were raised up. Maybe that's but I looked and seen the camera. Ain't God good? Because he has still been rolling. Bump me. But these are the challenges that the children have. And so I guess the question is, I'm going to say, let me see. Kelly says, "Praise the Lord, Bishop Lady Walton, bless you all." And this she shared. Don't forget share. Now, if you all look to your Facebook page, are you able to share? See this on your Facebook page, and I want very good. I want you to send type in there in the message how your different programs or how people can get in touch with you, your non-for-profit, because I'm sure there's people on here that this is a lot of good. It's so much good information. You ladies are outstanding. You have so much good information. Uh, Pat says educators don't really want to take time with children in this era, and that's right. I've seen a lot of friends. I've known friends who have gone to school, got their master's degree. Some have gotten a doctorate degree, and said, "I can't handle it. They can't. They just can't handle the pressure." Kids are, and you don't have any. You're very limited because I remember kids told me, "Mr. Walton, you can't hit me. We know you can't hit these kids. They learn quick." They said, "Mr. Walton, you can't hit us." I said, I ain't supposed to hit you. I wasn't gonna hit nobody. I wouldn't hit a kid, but you got to bluff them the best way you can. If you hopefully you can bluff them, but some of the kids gonna challenge. I was just lucky that I scared one boy. He raised hand like me. He want to hit me. I said, "Lord, please don't let him hit me." He raised hand like him. I said, "Okay." I just was just serious, and so I was able to bluff him that time. But Pookie and Baby ain't gonna go for that bluff. He the jaw, then. So again, I'm going to ask, what are the solutions? What are some of well, I'm going to start with you again, Miss Brittany. We'll start with you and work our way because you're in the school system. Do you see a lot of behavior problems? Because you said it's a alternative school, right?
Right. Yes. And I do want to kind of explain like how our alternative program works. It's a half day program. And so with that being a half day program, I'm also a part of a program where we give our students another option where they don't just have half days. So the idea, because our program, the half day program from some of our students, they start school at 7:20 and then they go home at 10:20. And the
So,
fact that students are going home at 10:20, just having time to just do anything that they want, to get in trouble. We kind of want to limit that, especially with our area where we service like the east side. And so there has been a lot of our students have also like experienced like crime and students being shot. It's just our students have experienced a lot of gun violence in our community, and even been a part of it. And so we also have this program where we have partners come into our school and work with students from 10:20 to 2:20, which is the other half day program. And so it allows our students to also have a full day program. So that way they're not just out in the streets doing whatever after they're being released from school. And so I have seen a difference in some of the students who are involved in that program just by the partners that are coming in and working with the students. And that's the main thing that I've noticed the difference. I know a few of you spoke about like uh, family being a really important thing, and that it starts at the home, which I 100% believe it definitely starts at the home. However, a lot of our students don't have that support at their home. And
Mhm.
so it's being brought into the school. And so even with our partners, especially at an alternative school, what our students need the most is consistency and knowing that one, someone cares, and two, that someone sees them. Um, our partners are able to give that to them as well as like us as staff. Um, that's one of the things that I really see. Like if a student is able to connect with someone and show them a different path, students are able to be like, okay, well, I don't have to be like this. And oh, like I don't have to be what people see me out to be. Because automatically, when students come into our alternative school, they're already having a label as being a bad kid. And
Mhm.
so that sticks with them. So when they're already labeled as a bad kid, they tend to act
Excellent.
accordingly, right? And so when we have our partners that are constantly pouring in affirmations and speaking positive to them, showing them different pathways, like taking them to college, telling them like you can do this, like I came from your same background, they're able to see themselves as something different than what people are telling them. And I think even having that in our communities would definitely be a big impact because I just see the impact that it has into our school. And so for students who, don't have the opportunity or even once school is released, like in the summertime, continuing to have those programs because I mean, we've had students say like, yeah, like it's all good, Miss Morrissey, but when I go home, you don't know what I have to go through. And
Right, right.
so
That's true. That's true.
also having like those resources outside of that because we can say all day like yes the home is where it starts but some of our students don't have it at their home, so I think it's giving them that option in the community where they can get those supports is what really makes a difference.
Yeah,
And
I think what you're saying is very important. Is that what do you do when you don't you don't have a support system home? Where will they get it? I think that's something a question that needs to be answered. But I'm hearing the different programs that you ladies have now. What Brittany, if do you collaborate with people like Celeste and Kelly and Les? Do you if they wanted to come now? Of course, I know people don't
we
have
would
time.
love that.
People ain't trying to volunteer because folks right now is trying to get paid. You
Which
got
I
go.
completely
You
No,
understand
I
that.
don't mind volunteering. I'm Celeste. I don't
um
mind.
Well,
Okay.
also, if you're in, we also, a lot of our partners, they provide their own funding because we're alternative school. We also have limited funding because most of the funding goes to their home school. So with our alternative education, we don't have a lot of funding. So our partners that we choose that come into the school, they provide their own funding, and there's ways that you can, do that. And I can talk about that like offline if you would like. But for nonprofit organizations, they can definitely get their own funding to come into our school because I definitely get like money is it's time, like time is money, so I get that you want to uh get paid, but we're not able to do that because we don't have the funding.
But you know,
We would
just like
definitely accept
you ain't
volunteers. Our
you ain't have
partners
to pay
typically
us.
work
So
with
Brittany,
our
what area are you in?
I'm a school social worker.
In which area? Which side of town? What district?
Oh, the east side.
She's in Warren.
So you're in Warren.
Yeah.
You're right here at Renaissance?
Yes.
Okay, so Brittany, I'll get your information because I work with Warren.
Okay.
And a lot of for the non
What's
for profit work that I do, like I
mm-hmm,
said, it's for the smaller children because
mm-hmm,
they do try to get them over to that program sometimes when they just haven't mastered, their IEP program and resource programs. So I
mm-hmm.
try to get them before they go there. But I would love to partner with
Which we
you.
would
There you go.
which we typically want our students to be able to explore all their options before getting to Renaissance, just because we're not always able to provide that education piece. Like we're not made to function as a school that provides all education. So our middle school, they only get um math and English. You know, they're not able to get those other.
Yeah. And
Uh,
I'm affiliate of P30, so I'm right down the street.
Okay,
And
yeah,
we have a large
yeah.
space
Mhm.
that
We have
we
partners
can,
come from.
yeah, and work. So I would love to get together and figure out what we can do part-time with the kids after that, because getting out of school at 10:20, they need to be doing something constructive for the school day.
so,
Yeah, yeah,
so
we have partners that come in from P30 as well too that work with. So the program is called Rise and Soar. So it gives the students a time to be there all day. So they don't have that, you know, just 3 hour school day. So it gives them 6 hours that they can be at school.
very
And
good.
they have the Teens and Dreams program on Sundays that a lot of Warren students go to that. So yeah, I'll get with you, and I would love to see what I can do to help.
We will love it. We're actually in the process of getting more partners to come in. So for the new year, as we're closing this year out, we're trying to start what partners will be able to come in next year. So this would be the perfect time.
Sarah Cobb says, "Praise the Lord, everyone." Sister Shirley says, "Praise the Lord, sister, blessings always." Now, I guess I'll start with you, Kelly, because Kelly, you haven't got a chance to say a whole lot, so we're going to give you a chance to say something. First of all, I'm going to ask. I think you ladies are all doing a fantastic job. I want you to write in the message about your program or a link and where people can uh, get information about your services. I just think it's good to collaborate with different people. I mean, just in this group right here, there's a host of knowledge right here. And if you guys can put in the message what you do you are you able to see it? Marie, are you able to see that?
I'm trying to. Is this in the chat here?
Yeah, put in the chat. Well, give us information on how people can contact with you.
Okay.
And I think it
Okay.
would be good to do a collaboration with a project where everyone can get involved and become individual referral. But I guess I deal with uh, Sister Shirley says smart young ladies. Well, that's what you do, Sister Shirley. If you ain't so smart, you hang around folks that's smart. So I guess that's what you
Yeah, that's why Kelly's my friend.
do.
Yeah, and that's why you're my friend.
So from a spiritual standpoint, you know, what can the church, either you ladies, tell me what can the church do to address? Because here's what I found in counseling. I used to counsel on the far west side of Indianapolis, and I had people from other churches coming. They weren't expecting to see me or anyone look like me there, and they went all the way out there because again, I think it's less stigma, but there's still a lot of stigma when it comes to mental health. I wonder how many parents are really willing to admit that my child has a problem. And I think it's important that parents are able to look and say, my child has a problem, but it doesn't mean my child's bad. My child is dealing with some type of mental illness, depression, anxiety, bipolar. And it could just be a learning problem. Sometimes kids have problems because they have attention deficit and they can't stay focused. So, are these uh, problems and issues been identified in the school system and recognized, and are they actually working with them? So either one of you can tell me that, or are they just going misdiagnosed? I think I was just because the school system. I was substitute teaching one time, and our school system, we have some serious problem. I had a child that he was in a class. I said, "You're gonna have to straighten up, or you're not gonna have your recess." So anybody can deal with kids, no, recess is like gold. That's like money in the bank for kids. I said, "I'm taking away." They get 15 minutes. I said, "I'm taking away 5 minutes of recess," and the kids start crying. And I know every time I say something, folks around him, they start saying Hispanic, they start talking. Then I said, "That's it. I'm taking away all your recess time. This is an afternoon right before recess." And he started crying. What's wrong with him? They said, "Mr. Walton, the boy does not speak English." I went a whole half a day. No one brought it to my attention. First of all, how are you gonna have a child in a class that doesn't speak the language and he's depending on somebody else to interpret for them that may not know what they're saying?
Right.
So our school system needs a lot to be desired. So I don't know, that was just blew my mind. Now listen. Now let me see. You wrote this. Hold on, let me see. I'm going to copy link address and I'm going to put it.
Yeah, it wouldn't
I-
it's not letting me post.
Yeah, I
Well,
was having a problem too. But I wouldn't mind. I have some comments on what you just said.
okay, go ahead. Okay, I copied it and I just put it on there myself. So I guess are you actually on? Do you see the program on your phone or your computer, wherever you are?
I'm on my phone and I don't see it. I know I tried to post on the chat, but I was having problems.
Well,
So
now someone just posted on chat, steady, and I just copied it and I put it on the link, so it's on here now.
Yeah,
Let me-
mine says the comment has failed to post to Dr. Anthony, so it's not letting me post.
Can you put it in the chat? If you put it in the chat, I can copy it and I can put it in there for
Yep, that's what I'm trying to do.
you. We'll get it there. We'll get it there. Or otherwise, you may just have to tell us.
Okay.
Okay. And my website, I put my www.steadyminds.com. Sorry, but yeah, it's .com. Is it .com or .org? .com?
It's .com.
Okay.
Mindsy.com, is that you?
We're working on that website.
It's mindsy.com. So what you
Minds, yeah, Steady Minds, with the Z. Yep.
Okay, well, I
So-
put it on there. They can see that.
Okay. It's up and coming, but it should be up in the next few weeks. Alrighty.
Okay, Les Marie. Well, I know who that is. So Les Marie. Let me copy your link. We want to get you on here too. So all this good information, because there are parents out here that. Ooh, I'm sorry, I kind of put it on the wrong place myself. Okay, hold on.
Celeste says she had a comment, then I got a comment.
Nicola, you go ahead.
No, so one of the things that is super important is just for us adults, wherever we are, that we just model good behavior before children. So whether it's showing children how to cope, I mean, like, do we get along with other people? Are we arguing at the family reunion with our sisters? Are we arguing with our mother? Are we, so just modeling good behavior goes a long way. And then just the way we are expressing ourselves to kids. Then we want to, I have a 2 and a 4-year-old grandson. I always say I'm raising kings. And so I talk to them about emotions. I got my emotional wheel here. When they're throwing fits, you don't just get to throw toys across the room. Get over here, draw me a picture. Okay, this little boy's crying. What's wrong with him? He's feeling sad. So we go to our wheel. You're feeling sad. So what, are you hurt? Are you disappointed? Are you lonely? Are you tired? So I teach them that. Like, I know that everybody doesn't have a wonderful grandmother like me. No, I'm just kidding. But I model that before them. And then also, I just encourage them to express their emotions. Sometimes, we're mad. Shut up, be quiet, don't say anything. No.
Mhm.
What's going on? I want my children to tell me,
Mhm.
talk to me, tell me what's going on. Why are you mad? Why are you not talking to me? Like, so I encourage them to express what they're feeling. And then once they express it, we learn what's appropriate. So you're mad. Okay. Do you like planets? Do you want to draw the planets? You're upset. Are you hungry? So I just teach them how to regulate their emotions and how to cope, like effective coping skills. You can't like punch walls, punch each other, even at 2 and 4, they're smart enough to know and to understand. So, we just have to model and show them, whether there are grandchildren, kids in the community, whatever, being a model to these kids and showing them how to act. So adults are, we're a lot of the problem for these kids.
I think that's very good. I think that's very good because when we were coming up, we were told, "Boy, you better sit on there and be quiet. I don't know what's wrong with you. You better sit down." But you are able to identify those emotions, because we have to realize when kids are acting up, they're acting out, and they don't know how to express themselves. You have grown people that are doing it. Sometimes grown people don't know how to express. I did that with a couple of counselors. Sometimes we got couples that don't know how to express themselves, and they act out. And so rather than say, "Hey, I'm feeling a certain way," well, you made me this right here. You make me angry, and we have to identify those emotions and find out the source of those emotions. Because I tell a lot of times when I would do couples counseling, you might say, "Oh, you're so silly," but it may be a light thing to you, but it may bring a trauma to someone, or that may be something that they experienced as a childhood that the parents all they said. So now they're reliving those emotions. So these are things that we have to be aware in any level, with kids, with adults. You know, is some serious challenges, and we have to. But I think it's very good that you said, "Hey, let's talk about these emotions." I think we all need to do with that, and I think if grown folks would do that. Hey, you appear to be upset. Tell me what's going on, instead of saying, "What's your problem? What's wrong with you?" Hey, tell me what's going on. Yeah.
Right. And also they don't. I don't think they have enough brain breaks, kind of like throughout the classrooms. Like there's certain practice and disciplines they should have.
Hmm.
You shouldn't expect for a student to sit throughout, for an hour.
Yeah.
And then also, like, I mean, teachers aren't really educated to look for signs. So, like, for me, like, sometimes, yeah, I know when I get a little nervous, I might bite my lip or I might shake my leg, or you might, see, I can identify in myself, like, when I'm starting to feel a certain way.
Hmm.
And, even with Shakti Warriors, we teach students, like, when you start feeling like, you're getting in your feelings or whatever, like, some people you can now that I know what to look for, I can see it in a lot of people. I can identify somebody's knees twitching, or I can
Right.
identify that somebody's getting restless or whatever. But instead of sitting around waiting for that person to blow, because when they blow, they call it emotional contagion. Like, it only takes one or two people to get the whole classroom out of control, or
You-
get, so it's like catch it before it even happens. Put practices in place so that people can have brain breaks, and we have programs for that. But it's no more than stand up and stretch, write your name, in the air or whatever, but just something to get them back on track, to get them back focused. And I don't think the classrooms have, a lot of classrooms don't have things like that in place, that this is what they do on a normal basis. You're not waiting for little Johnny to blow, but you're actually, and then honestly, 5 to 10% of the students that are in the classrooms are a whole nother level. They are the students that you give a piece of paper to and say, hey, walk this over to Mrs. Jones' classroom, because that they need more than just a brain break. They need to actually take a walk. And you have already something in place with Mrs. Jones that, hey, about every hour, I'm gonna have Johnny walk over here and hand you something. So
Mhm.
it's just really working with the kids in the classrooms to identify, you know, what's really needed. Like we say, calming stations, amygdala stations, things like that, and allow the kids to go, to the back of the room and put some lotion on or whatever it is that they need to send, that's gonna get them back to a calm point.
Let me ask you a question, because one of the things I saw when I was substitute teaching, that a lot of stuff I don't, it's just all foreign to me. And we had recess. We had kids doing assignment, and a couple of kids was under the desk together. I said, "What?" I said, "Excuse me." I said, "Y'all better come off my." They said, "No, this is what we do." I said, "Say what?"
Oh.
And let the kids crawl. I mean, this is the
It's
normal.
focus time. So they find them the most relaxing place for them to be able to focus and work together, to do their classwork in general education. So right now what they're doing is they're separating the educational for general education, small groups, and then depending on the level of need that the child has, they go into the focus room. So what parents really need to understand is they need to ask the appropriate questions. How much percentage of time is my student in the focus or general education? How much time is my child isolated? Like Miss Celeste said, what are those mind breaks? What are those sensory activities that we're giving the
Yes.
students? And the thought tables when you're doing something, and they need to learn how to advocate for themselves. I tell all my advocate kids when I'm at those case conferences with their IEPs, where are their advocate cards that says my emotions, like Kelly said,
Mhm.
I feel
Mhm.
sad.
Yep.
I
Mhm.
don't want to work. And another thing that they're doing is they're pairing Johnny with Stewart, because Johnny and Stewart may not get in so much trouble together, but Johnny and Stewart may not like each other. And
Mhm.
we miss the point that these are little people, these are little humans. So they
Right.
have emotions every day. Sometimes we don't want to sit next to our coworker. So we're not giving these children enough. Um, time to advocate for themselves. So with those emotional advocate cue cards, I'm sad, I'm upset, I'm tired, because like Celeste said, they need to go and take a break. If they're tired, they need to go to the focus
Yep.
area with their
Yep.
15-20 minutes and take a
Yep.
break.
Okay, let me
Um,
Absolutely.
ask you a question, Marie, because you said a lot of good information there. But one thing you said that to ask the parents if they know if the kids are getting enough time. How do the parents know how much time the child needs? I mean, is a parent able to know that for
So
themselves?
when the school, first of all, that's what's part of the advocate program. When the school system puts your child on some type of behavior modification or IEP or any kind of program, yes, it is to say that there is some kind of need. But on
Mhm.
top of that, the school system has a responsibility and a right. You have a right to demand from the school system that they give your student all the tools and resources. And just because the resources are lacking, that does not have anything to do with your child. They have to go get those resources. It's their jobs to go get their resources. So if you are not abreast with IEPs and what your responsibility and what your rights are, I hope you get an advocate. You can call me. But with that is a report, and it says how many percent of time is in general education, how much percent of time is in focus area, how many percent of time is in group help. And there is supposed to be an 80-20 module. They're supposed to be in general education 80% of the time, 20% in focus area. And that focus area is supposed to help them with the additional needs that they have, whether it's reading, math, or behavior.
Mhm.
Mhm.
One thing that we are lacking is that a child cannot advance in class if their behavior is not advancing. So if
Right.
their social immaturity or their social skills are not advanced and evolving, they're not going to be able to do the schoolwork.
Okay,
So
I hear what you're saying. I think you said some good information. I want to ask Brittany. Brittany, is there a model in school, or do you all take responsibility? Say, hey, this child is not meeting these objectives. Do you present that to parents? Do you have a list for each kid, or where the kids should have a certain amount of progression, and that you present it? Because what Maria is saying is very good, but are you presenting this to the parents? Because a lot of parents may not know this, and I know she's exactly right. But if a parent doesn't know that, then the child is the one that suffers. So are they informing the kids that in the school system?
I believe they're not.
Parents.
I, well, I believe they're not. A lot of sometimes when kids even get switched over to our alternative school, some of the parents aren't even aware. So I
Wow.
know that a lot of parents aren't
Parents not aware.
also. Hmm,
You can transfer a kid to another school and parents don't know? How can that be?
exactly. So the homeschool, I know that it's happening. So I'm saying, like, I know some of if they're not always communicating that they're going to be transferred to an alternative school, I'm pretty sure they're not always communicating what they need to be doing as far as like their IEP or 504 plan.
Wow.
And a lot of times, some students who need an IEP aren't getting the assistance. And because you now send them over to an alternative program with less resources for them to get those services, the homeschool would have to do it. And so a lot of times that's getting overlooked. And I think it's just because the parents also don't know like what they that they need to speak up, and what signs to look for. And they also don't know like that they have the right to be able to say like, no, I need this support for my child, I need this. They don't always know that they have that right. And I also don't think that they realize that the school isn't communicating
Wow.
what
Well,
they should be communicating.
well, you're just blowing me away on that. When you
and
said
Dr. Anthony, I want to also tell you a tactic, and I know Celeste can chime in here as well. These programs, it's a tactic. They have a case conference and they schedule it at 6, 7 o'clock in the morning because it's convenient for the school system to before the staff gets there. So how is a parent, if they have
Mhm.
4 or 5 other children, trying to get the other children off to school, or 3 children, and be at a case conference at 6 or 7 o'clock in the morning, and they give you about a week to get it together, and they give you the IEP program about 72 to 48 hours before the case conference. And if you're not abreast with the IEP or the 504, you don't know what you're reading. And then they badger you and make you feel like you have to sign the document within 48 to 72 hours after the case conference.
Well, I'm going to say this. We have a couple of comments here, but I'm going to say anybody that if you don't know, ask Marie, because Science Marie Ray gets some folks straight, and you will get straight. So if you
Yes.
don't know, ask Marie. Make sure your information is in there. Sister Kelly says, my mother worked in the school system for 34 years and was an IPS instructor for children that had learning disability. It was classified at that years ago, and she would be them home for the weekend and work with them, bring them home for the weekend and work with them, different students. It was truly helpful. I'm going to say this right here, Pat. Parents were more concerned across the board back then. The young people now, they have their own. So the young people now who are having kids, they are so focused on themselves. Some of them don't even care about the kids.
A lot of grandparents are raising.
I see parents come in cussing the kids. You bring your butt, so and so on over here. Just drag them. And I watch and I would observe when I was in school. You see some kids that run up to their parents, or parents hug them. And some kids and the parents don't go up to them and they come over here just fuck like they come picking up the kids from school angry. Let me see. Jamie says, as far as a Latino kid who don't speak English, they end up learning by being around English speaking kids and teachers. They go home and teach their mom, who is usually not on a job. They learn from their family and they learn fast. I wish we could learn their language. Now, that's what you call, Sister Jamie. You're right. They call it parentified, is because many times in the Latino and Mexican population, they're expecting the kids. They can't read English, so the kids
right.
are going. So the kids take on the responsibility of the parents. And I've experienced that working with. But you're right. The only problem I had, Sir Jamie, they should inform the teacher. How is a teacher going with a student that doesn't speak English the whole day, and they not inform them? I mean, that should be. There has to be a checks and balances. I mean, I could operate with a kid differently. Here, I'm thinking I have just a kid with a behavior problem, but he didn't understand what I'm saying. I'm saying he's just ignoring me, and I felt so bad once I found out. So I think the school again. Back to Brittany, the school has responsibilities, but are the schools lacking in their responsibility, and that becomes concern. And so Pat says you must keep in mind the parents could be suffering from the same thing, so they can get out of order as well. That's true. Some of the parents have some of these same issues.
And Miss Pat, I agree with Miss Pat Kelly. I agree. Just again, I think I said this in the beginning of the program. The generation that we are in, because like I said, I have a 13-year-old. We came from a broken home, and now we are raising children out of brokenness, and we're doing the best that we can.
Right.
And I haven't done everything right, and a lot of my daughter's emotional instability is because she's emulating my emotional instability. So I think when we have to be careful, very careful, when we say this generation of parents are not doing A, B, C, and D, because we have not gotten the tools to be equipped of what we needed now until our children are teenagers, and now it's saying, hey, now we have to get this right. But if somebody would have pulled my coattail when Shrewany was in preschool, while I was rushing making her tie her shoes or getting her book bag, or her jacket is upside down and I'm rushing her to get out of the car because I'm going to work, and somebody just said, slow down, that's a little too much responsibility for a 3-year-old.
Mm-hmm.
But now, we're so quick to say the parents are this way. The parents are, we're trying, but broken people are raising broken kids right now.
That's true. That's true.
That's true.
I'm going to read this. Pat says years ago there were no IEP, and I think that's a good thing too, because they do show an awareness that the kids need additional help. So that's something too. Absolutely, you're right. Listen, we are running out of time. This time went by so fast. Man, I might have to get all you ladies on again. You have an interesting set of friends, Miss Kelly.
She
You got
does.
some interesting friends, and we got to bring them up. Only thing Celeste didn't bring her cape out. I thought you was bringing cape out.
Hey, I'll have it next time for sure.
All right,
And I might bring my mask.
Oh,
Then you be like, is
mask.
that
Oh
is
my
that
goodness.
Celeste?
Oh my goodness. Okay. All right, gonna bring that mask out as well. Hey, you ladies were a joy to talk with. There's so much information. I think we might have to do a part two because I do think there's a lot of information and there is a need. I mean,
Absolutely.
we really kind of talked about a lot of different subjects. So let's start off. She brought some good things up,
Yeah.
and you brought from different dynamic. Marie, Brittany, you talked about the school system, and Kelly, you talked about the in-house facility clinical aspect of it. Because at some point, some of these kids will be referred to you. Make sure you take Medicare because they're gonna need it. They're gonna need Medicaid, Medicare.
She just got approved today, so she does accept Medicaid.
Oh, yay, Kelly.
Thank you.
That's a very good broadcast tonight. Thank you, all ladies. We need a part two. I really think
Thank you.
these are subjects, and the thing about it is, I link the subjects from a natural standpoint by dealing from the church because a lot of churches, like I was alluding to earlier, a lot of churches they don't recognize, because you have some kids act up in church, Sunday school. You said, "What's wrong with Billy? Billy ain't hyperactive. Billy got some issues
Yeah.
and systemic challenges they're having, and we have to be able to identify that." And I think was that you, Kelly, Dr. Jones? You were saying that we have to recognize those emotions, and that's something that we need to take. But it takes time, and the problem is a lot of times individuals are not we're in such a big society, people just don't take the time, like the neighbors don't take the time, and some may want to take time, but because of the challenge they're afraid to take the time. So that's a lot of dynamics. So I think we need to break it. But I want all you ladies give me your information because I'm going to try to do something with the group of y'all because I think there's a lot of need. There's a lot of things that are out there, and just like I said, you brought so much good information. So what's this we're going to do? Celeste, we're gonna go with you. We're gonna give you 60 seconds. We're hop out of it. We're gonna give you 60 seconds. Tell us whatever you want about yourself, your program, 60 seconds. And
Okay.
then by that, we're gonna go with Marie, and then we're gonna go to Miss Brittany, and let Miss Jones be the last.
Okay. So again, my name is Celeste Lawson Lindsay. The program that I've been talking about is called Shakti Warriors, stands for Superhero Academy for Knowledge Training and Academy. And I'm sorry, Superhero Academy for Training, for Knowledge Training and Integrity. It's an online curriculum. And we do focus on fourth grade through 12th grade. Now, however, there's another program called Cool to Be Me that I also have permission from a lady in South Africa. And it's from kindergarten, it's for kindergartners through third grade. And it's an amazing program, and I would love to be able to share that with you guys. But again, we focus on social emotional learning, adversity, trauma. We provide professional development. And I want to just say that teachers are doing their very best out there. They're exhausted, guys, and really they have not received the training. They spend majority of their time.
Some are.
Yeah.
I ain't gonna give them all a pass. I'll give the majority of them a pass.
Okay. Well, a
Some,
lot of them, I know I just did a little bit. I'm out there sometimes. It's like the behavior thing. They haven't received, they don't know how to teach regulation. They just don't know what they don't know. And a lot of times, I'm gonna tell you guys, their A score is low. You have teachers in classrooms that have 0 A scores, 1, 2 A scores, and you have kids in classrooms with an average of 8 and 9, 10. So there's no reason for a teacher with a 0, a 1, a 2 A score. They don't know nothing about a child with an 8, a 9, and a 10 A score.
right.
So I mean, that's apples. That's not apples and apples. That's like a banana and a pork chop or something.
Very good.
It's not.
Pat left another. She said, remember autistic children as well. They're overlooked well in schools.
Absolutely.
I've worked with some autistic kids, and I've been pretty successful with them. But the problem is, it takes patience, it takes time, and teachers don't have the time. You have a class full of kids, and you have one child that has a major behavior problem, one's not as much, you can't take the time. Either you're gonna focus on one child or neglect the other or neglect them. And so somebody's gonna fall through the cracks. So and that's the problem. But thanks for sharing. Ms. Celeste,
Yes.
you put the information on the link that we can to contact you.
Okay, I might send it to Kelly because I was having problems with the chat.
Okay, if you can, okay, if chat, let us know and we'll
I'll figure it
but,
out. I
but
got it.
also at the end of the program, if you go on my Facebook page, you can see it and you can still put it because a lot of people, more people actually watch the program at the end of it.
Oh,
So
okay.
so you can still type messages and comments uh, about the program. And thank
Okay.
you once again. Thank you for coming on, Miss Celeste. Miss
You're
Marie,
welcome.
give you 60 seconds. Tell us something about yourself, what you want us to know.
Hi, I'm Les Marie. I am a business consultant. I own the Les Marie firm, and that is for minority-owned businesses. And we provide them all the tools and resources of our white counterparts so they can be successful in entrepreneurship. My non-for-profit is Les Advocate. It's part of the Les Marie brand. It is an advocate program for children with mental and behavioral health issues and parents that are also suffering from mental and behavioral health issues, because what the problem is that if they don't know how to help themselves, they can't identify and help the
Oh,
children. We also advocate for those children that are autistic, those children that are on IEPs. We go into the school systems, we read the IEPs, we fight for the children and let the parents know what their rights are. We go to doctor's appointments. Kelly is our mom provider on my board. We review the charts, we review the medications. They try to put these children on antipsychotic. Their brains have not even developed before we're introducing a chemical. A lot of times these kids are coping because they don't have the emotional regularity or the emotional capability. So the advocate program is to advocate for the little people. I am coming for preschool to third grade, the game changers, our future game changers, because if we get them at that age before the world gets a hold of them, we can teach them to be better human beings. So
very,
that is Let's Advocate. And I'm very excited about the program.
very good. Sounded a very exciting program. Both of you ladies are doing some great things, and we want to get the word out. And so whatever I can do to get out, I'll do. Miss Brittany.
My name is Brittany Morsi. I'm a school social worker for alternative school Warren Township called Renaissance. I also am over the Rise and Soar Leadership Development Program that will give students the opportunity to have an all-day program. We're always looking for partners to partner with so that they can be a part of that and give students that all-day experience and to help them just lower crime and prevent them from being out of trouble. And then I also have an extensive list of resources if anyone needs them.
And you mentioned something about non-for-profit or something like that, or grants or something like that. Yeah.
If I was just saying, like, if non-profits want to be a part of the Rise and Soar Leadership Development Program and they need help with funding, I can tell them the best way to do that.
Okay. Did you put on the post how we can get in touch with your program? Well, if you can type that in the message so we can get that, because I'm sure there's a lot of people out here that would like to know about it. Okay. Last but not least.
Hello. So I am, like I said, opening up my private practice. Steady Minds is going to be off of 56 and Post Road in Indianapolis. Fort Harrison area. And
I might go and check myself in there. I don't know.
treat children and adults on an outpatient basis. And I do want to say for our kids, don't give up. Love always wins. It never fails. So just make sure that we're taking the time to, first of all, get ourselves healed so that we can make sure that we are raising children that are healed. The very best gift a parent or an adult can give to their community, to themselves, to each other, is to make sure that we are healed. Okay, so we are not wounding other people. With just a cycle of dysfunction continues. Make sure that we're doing that, and always praise our kids. We are so good at disciplining them, but children need love, they need affirmation, they need praise. So make sure that you're taking the time. Tell them one thing wrong, but give them 5 things that they're doing great that will go a long way to build their self-esteem, their sense of worth, value, and then they can be kinder to the world.
Okay, very good. I think what you said was very important for all of us we have to take care of ourselves. And self-care is so important because in working with kids, working with young people and social service, you can easily get burned out. And once you get burned out, you become insensitive. It's a self-protection mechanism to keep yourself from just, just going. Now I see there's a Lynette. I don't know, is that another one of your friends?
It is.
And Lynette, wait till the last minute. Come on, I'm gonna give you 30 seconds, Lynette. Come on, Lynette. You got something to say?
I don't have anything to say, but I'm so sorry. I hope this was recorded. I forgot I had a rehearsal, and so I was trying to join the call, and the music was probably on. And I'm sorry if you guys heard some background noise, but I just wanted to tell my
We
friends.
can hear you. We can see you. I can see. They couldn't see you. We can see.
Okay.
Well, welcome. It's my turn now, Miss Lynette. The program will be on my Facebook page. You can see it. I'll link it. I can tag you. But I think you have it, don't you, Ms. Jones? You have it on your Facebook
Awesome.
page.
Yeah.
You can
Mhm.
see it on her Facebook page, and you can go back and see the program.
Great.
Again,
Thank you.
thank you, each and every one, for your input. I'm gonna let you go, Miss. I guess I let you stay on, Miss. We'll give you a few more time, a few more minutes. You're a friend, of Miss Jones. We won't just cut you off. We'll let you stay on. I want to thank each and every one of you ladies for being on the program. Your input, they're invaluable. I'm sure that the audience who were on here and who will come on, because there are those who come on. It's unbelievable how many people come on after, because a lot of times people tell, I don't want to come on through the program because I don't want to accidentally be seen. So they rather wait till after it's over with. But continue to do what you're doing. And those who are watching, thank you for joining this week's episode. It's my turn now. We love it. We appreciate you. God bless. Oh, by the way, next week is a holiday. Very few times do I not have it, but I'm going to be celebrating Memorial Day. I'm going to get some barbecue. Come by. So if you want to invite me over, if you know how to cook, if you don't know how to cook, don't invite me over. If you know how to cook some ribs or whatever. If you don't want swine, I'll take chicken. You know what I mean? But wherever it's on the grill, if you know I grill, feel free to invite us over. Listen,